Welcome back. Thank you for joining us, and the track action will be getting underway very shortly. I've got Anthony Davidson, Naomi Schiff alongside me. Before we focus on that, Naomi, I'd just like us to consider some of these big rumours that are circulating at the moment about driver moves up and down the paddock. Just how distracting is it to focus on putting in strong performances at the same time as negotiating a future?
Well, it can be a really big distraction, particularly for the drivers who are out of contract at the moment. And for them, it's going to be the challenge of managing what they're doing off track and compartmentalizing that from what happens on track, because we know that this next decision in their career is going to be a big one. So that can put a lot of pressure on your shoulders, but you don't want that to put so much pressure on your shoulders that you start overdriving, making mistakes, because you know in this sport, you can go from hero to zero in an instant.
I mean, you know, easier said than done, Ant. And as we pass by a driver now who's considering their future, even if you've got a contract, they're not necessarily even worth the paper they're written on. You've got to keep putting in really big, impressive performances.
It's an industry that demands perfection from not just the team, but the drivers as well, first and foremost. So if you start to relax in any way, even if you have a multi-year deal in place, like you say, not worth the paper it's written on, because you can be kicked out before you know it. If the performances start to slip, the team will have their eye on you straight away and you'll be out the door.
So no room for complacency. Let's see who can put in some big performances on track today. All the action up next. Don't go anywhere.
It's a sprint weekend here at the track, and before we can go racing, we need to go qualifying. Who will be on pole for the sprint to come? We're about to find out.
All right, let's have a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the
Okay, I'm afraid we've been pushed down to P16.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
Seventh. Fastest lap at the moment, 1:27.8. To go. So this rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now. That's just 30 seconds left in the session.
P1. Nice.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow. So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Piastri, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Antonelli, Colapinto, Hadjar, Verstappen, and Liam Lawson, Perez, Ocon, Ollie Behrman, and Albon, Alonso, Stroll, Nico Hülkenberg and Carlos Sainz, Gasly, Bottas, Bortoleto and Arvid Lindblad rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today. Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I love being here at Silverstone. I know you do too. Mainly because we get to sleep in our own houses for a week. But what do the drivers enjoy most about this track?
Well, Silverstone's such a challenging circuit, Crofty, more so for the car than the driver, because these high-speed corners at Silverstone really test this modern-day F1 machinery to its maximum. We don't get that many times throughout the calendar. I can only think of Suzuka and Spa, maybe Qatar as well, with that high-energy cornering that you get here at Silverstone. So the drivers love throwing the car around through corners like Copse, Maggots and Beckett's, for example, and it's really influential for your lap time as well.
Okay, mate, radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Right, mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
Check back.
Loud and clear. So
No rain expected for the time being. Systems all looking good, head down. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
Minus 5 brake pads and the thing just doesn't turn. It's unbelievable.
That's us down a place.
I got damage, boys. Got wing.
Final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
You ripper! Great job. Awesome drive. Awesome weekend. Well done, mate.
Woo! Very nice, very nice. I like this car, I like this engine. Great job.
Drive. The whole team have worked especially hard this weekend, and that, my friend, is a fantastic reward. Well done.
Look, that mentality, let's keep pushing.
Well, that's an end to the sprint action. Next up, we'll set the grid for the Grand Prix. So we'll see you next time.